Chapter 9 Darchik, the Arayan Valley. The summer sun poured its golden warmth into the valley of Kargil. The Suru River shimmered like a flowing mirror, and even the mountains, those stern guardians of Ladakh, looked softened under the blue sky. I was seated in my OPD, the morning rush of patients trickling in steadily. My voice rang out, as it often did after finishing a consultation. "Next patient, please." The curtain moved aside, and in walked a vision unlike any other. A tall young woman, graceful, with striking blue eyes that shone with both dignity and curiosity. Draped in the crisp uniform of Ladakh police, she stepped forward with her mother beside her. Folding her hand, she greeted me warmly. "Jolly, sir?" I returned the greeting with equal warmth. Her voice carried a charm that only the mountains could give. With quiet dignity, she said, "Sir, I am serving in the Ladakh police. My father was with the Ladakh Scouts. He passed away a few years ago. This is my mother, who has been suffering from on and off pain in her abdomen due to gallstones. We tried hospitals in Leh and Kargil, but the waiting list was long. I heard about your hospital, so we came here." The elderly lady's eyes carried both pain and deep trust. After examining her, I explained gently, "Your mother requires surgery. We do not have a laparoscopic setup here, so the procedure will be open cholecystectomy. That means a larger scar and a longer recovery, but the operation will be safe." The daughter nodded firmly, and her mother whispered with folded hands, "Dr. Saab, I leave it in your hands. Buddha will help you." That blessing stayed with me as I walked into the operating theater. The surgery went smoothly, the gallbladder with stones was removed, and the patient shifted to the ICU for recovery. The following morning, when I visited them on my rounds, both mother and daughter were smiling with gratitude. In their tradition, they draped a white silk scarf, khata, around my neck. I bowed deeply in respect, moved by their sincerity. At discharge, they brought gifts, apricots, dry fruits, and kubani, symbols of the valley's abundance. Before leaving, the daughter placed a gentle request. "Sir, promise me you will visit our village, Darchik, once. We will host you." I gave my word, and in Ladakh, a promise is sacred. The journey to Darchik. One bright Sunday I kept that promise. With my wife and two close friends, we set out. The road itself felt like a journey into time. From Kargil we drove through Achamal, Apati, Humbuting, La Selfie Point, Lalung, Chulichan, and Silmo. Each village had its own quiet charm, apricot orchards, stone houses, children waving at passing gypsies. Crossing into Batalik, the Indus River appeared beside us, flowing like a silver ribbon through the barren cliffs. The river sang along the road, a companion guiding us toward Darchik. As we approached the valley, a signboard greeted us in bold letters, "Welcome to the abode of the Red Indians." We had arrived at Darchik, one of the last homes of the Brogpa tribe, the fabled Aryan community of Ladakh. The Aryan heritage. The Brogpa are considered one of the most ancient and distinctive ethnic groups of Ladakh, believed by some to be direct descendants of Alexander the Great's soldiers who stayed behind centuries ago. Their appearance sets them apart: high cheekbones, tall frames, striking blue or green eyes, and fair complexions. Women are easily recognized by their elaborate headgear called tepi, a conical cap adorned with rows of cowrie shells, silver coins, turquoise stones, and topped with fresh flowers such as marigolds, roses, and even wild orchids. This tradition of wearing flowers is centuries old. They believe it symbolizes fertility, purity, and their bond with nature. They speak Brokskat, a language belonging to the Darchik family, distinct from mainstream Ladakhi. Their rituals and songs are ancient oral traditions passed down across generations. The festival and wedding. By a stroke of luck, on the very day we arrived, there was a wedding in the village. For the Brogpa, weddings are not just family affairs, they are a reaffirmation of their cultural identity. The community welcomed us with curious warmth, inviting us to join. The women, dressed in long woolen robes called ko, tied with bright sashes, wore heavy silver jewelry with turquoise inlays. Their faces glowed with natural pride. The men, in darker woolen attire, carried traditional flutes and drums. Soon the music began. The villagers formed a circle, dancing in rhythmic steps, holding each other by the shoulders. The Brogpa dance, called Brogchu, was slow yet powerful, each movement carrying the weight of history. We joined in, awkward at first, but soon our steps matched theirs. Laughter filled the air. They offered us chang, a traditional beer made from fermented wheat and barley, served in wooden mugs. Its earthy flavor seemed to carry the soul of the mountains. We met the bride and groom, their faces radiant with youth and tradition. A quick photograph captured a memory that felt timeless. At the patient's home, finally, we reached the home of my patient. The old lady awaited us with folded hands and tears of joy. The setting was surreal. Through the center of the village, a glacial waterfall tumbled straight down, its water pure and icy. I bent down, scooped some into my palms, and drank. It was, without doubt, the sweetest and purest water I had ever tasted. We climbed a slope above the village. At the top lay a vast ground, golden with wheat fields. In the middle stood a centuries-old monastery built in 1055 AD. Its walls of stone and mud, bound with straw and lime, carried cracks of time, yet stood defiant. Wooden beams held its roof, while frescoes of Indo-Tibetan art lined the walls, faded yet alive with spiritual energy. Around the fields, apricot, green apple, and black mulberry trees stood heavy with ripe fruits. Each bite was like tasting the raw essence of nature. Back at the auntie's home, hospitality embraced us once again. She served roti made from sourdough, fresh curd, namkeen chai, and dry fruits. There was no furniture. We sat cross-legged on woven carpets, warmed by an angithi in the center. The sunlight filtered in through small wooden windows, casting a golden peace across the room. The cultural lesson, over dinner, the daughters shared one of the most guarded traditions. In our Aryan community, girls must marry only within the tribe. If they marry outside, they are cast away. It is said to preserve the Aryan bloodline. There was pride in her tone, but also a sadness, as if she questioned the chains of her heritage. Then her face turned serious. "Sir, not everything here is beautiful. There is an epidemic of hepatitis B in Darchik, and also in Kargil and Leh. Many are carriers without knowing it. Causes include unsafe injections in remote clinics, lack of proper sterilization, and sometimes mother-to-child transmission. The prevalence here is one of the highest in India." The words were heavy, a reminder that beneath the beauty and culture lay challenges that needed urgent healing. Farewell to the valley. As the sun began to sink, we prepared to leave. Auntie draped another white kata around my neck, her blessings deeper than words. The mountains turned crimson in the fading light. The Indus roared beside us, and apricot trees waved farewell. We returned to Kargil with our gypsy full of dry fruits, photographs, and laughter, but more than that, with hearts enriched by history, heritage, and humanity. That day, I understood healing is not only about removing disease, it is also about preserving culture, respecting traditions, and carrying the stories of people within us.